Hello, welcome to our next episode of Freedom Fridays with Dana Lee. I am your host, Dana Lee. I'm the diet recovery coach, and I help women heal emotionally, mentally, physically, and even spiritually from decades of dieting damage. If you're here with me live, say hello. Good to have you. Where are you tuning in from? I would love to hear that. I am also live on my YouTube channel. Really great to reconnect with you guys. Happy to be here. Okay, so today's topic, we're kind of piggybacking on last week's episode. Last week, if you didn't catch it, it's okay. You can go back and watch it. You don't need to watch that one before you watch this one, but I do recommend that you tune into that one because it is going to make this one make more sense. So last week, in honor of Valentine's Day, I shared an approach with how I shifted from a weight loss goal to one of self-love. And that was a scary goal. However, because it seemed like that goal didn't have any particularly something to measure, which was very strange for this type A, ambitious, go-getter personality. Yet it was the thing that cracked the code for me and really changed my entire relationship with myself, with food, with exercise. So one of the things I shared in that episode last week was my framework and how I move through every single day, I guess you could say. I eat like I love myself, move like I love myself, speak like I love myself, and act like I love myself. So this is a loaded topic because many women don't know how to love themselves. That is actually why I developed my MindFit mentorship program, because it is of a tremendous value to have a mentor to take you through how you exactly do that, and to have a mentor that has legit been there, done that, and is kind of paving the way and setting the stage for you to discover that process on your own and make that your own unique journey of what does it look like to really love myself. So today I want to talk about exercise and rebuilding our relationship to exercise. So I do want to just check in here with my phone, make sure I can see myself live. So any comments that come up, please. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Deborah. Good to see you guys. So go ahead and say hello if you haven't already. And if you're on the replay, #replay. I would love to know that your eyeballs were on this topic. If it is a hot one, then I know that I can certainly do more videos to explore exercise and movement and our relationship to that. Hi, Deb. Good to see you here. Okay, so let's dive in. I'm going to go over 6 steps to build or rebuild your relationship with exercise. Exercise, working out. It's interesting. The first module of the coursework in my mentorship program helps you take a look at what those words are and what they mean to you, because we as human beings will assign meaning to things. That's what we're meaning making machines. That's what we do. It's how we figure out the world, how we figure out how do we operate in the world, what's my place in the world. We have to be able to do that in order to know what to do next and how to behave and what to say. So making meaning out of things isn't a bad thing. It can be a very good thing. It's just it's important to step back and take a look at what am I making exercise mean? What does the word exercise mean? Is it any different than working out? Is there a positive correlation with that? Is there a negative correlation with that? Like maybe you saw your mother exercising in a certain way, and that's created this weird relationship with you have a hard time exercising. Or it could be the opposite. You saw your mom, it just was active and involved, and it was very inspiring, and it's just something that your family did, and that was normal. So I would really love to hear, as I'm talking about this stuff, if anything does come up for you, or you make some sort of a relationship with, that stuff and what we're talking about today, please comment and share. You're not just doing it for me, you're doing it for us in this community. Like, what is it like to live a life beyond dieting, putting dieting in our past, reframing our relationship to exercise and food? And it is the power of the community and you guys commenting and sharing your own personal story that can help open up the eyes of another woman to see things differently and to realize, wow, we are more similar than we are different. So a lot of us have a very similar path and struggle with exercise. So first, I would love to hear, do you love exercise? Do you hate to exercise? Do you have a kind of a both love hate? Um, are you an on again, off again exerciser? Like you'll exercise consistently for a while until maybe you start seeing results and feeling really good, and then something happens and then you stop? So we're definitely, I mean, that's my area of expertise. Why is it? Why do we stop? Why do we stop doing the behaviors that are actually healthy and good for us? I'm wondering also, do you, hi, Dawn, do you overexercise, like exercise to the point that maybe you're really tired, exhausted, it kind of breaks you down? Yet the other part of that could be use exercise as a tool for damage control. If you binge eat or you're not, that you feel like you're trying to get your eating habits under control, one of the ways that you try to do that is use exercise as a tool. I'm interested in that. Also, that I want to point out that exercising, over exercising, and under exercising actually have very similar side effects, detrimental side effects to our health, our well being, and our bodies. Over exercise can lead to, breakdown in your joints and your muscles and your fascia. You can end up really tight and have limitations of movement when you do too much. And the interesting thing is, when you don't move enough, the same things happen. Your joints break down, your muscles, your fascia is affected. Your fascia is your connective tissue that connects all of it. Fascia is definitely a loaded topic, and one for another time. But it's interesting though to see that it's really about us finding the adequate amounts of exercise and the types of exercise that are really supportive for this chapter in your life. The way you've moved through working out in your teens and your 20s and your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s will change and evolve. So to try to force yourself into, oh, well, I've used to run or exercise, I would kickbox, and this is how I used to do it, and that worked for me. Yet now you're living in the body you're in today, and you've gone through things. Maybe you've had children. Maybe you've been under tremendous stress in your life. Could be a financial stress. It could be a career stress, moving. That stuff affects you physically. So your exercise and how your body responds to exercise is going to change. So I've always say to my clients, it works until it doesn't work. So this is what I'm going to talk about in today's video. We're going to learn how to adapt to figure out what is going to work for me today and what is really going on behind the scenes, so I can start to really appreciate and learn to love how I'm moving my body, and to bust out the molds of what exercise or working out used to be, or maybe their definition of society or diet culture, whatever. That's somebody else's definition. We're here to define yours. Okay. So let's go into my 6 steps I'm going to share with you. Also, I will always say on these episodes of Freedom Fridays with Dana Lee, you might want to grab a pen and a notebook, because taking notes can be really helpful here. Okay. There might be some writer downers that are going to be worth repeating to yourself, or something that you want to make sure you keep fresh in your mind beyond our video. Okay. So yeah, I see, hang on. See who shared that. Deb said, I love dance movement and yoga. Awesome. So do I. I love freestyle dance. I'm not a fan of like Zumba. I had a hard time in Zumba because I don't want to follow somebody else's dance moves. I want to make my own. So I will put on music and just like freestyle dance, and that's the way I love moving. And it took me a while to really get comfortable with that. Like, I should be following some dance move. And listen, if you love Zumba and you love to follow the choreography, fantastic. That's what we're here to explore together in this video. What's working for me may not work for you, and vice versa. So please, please, please be open to exploring what is going to be good for you and your body, and not from some external source that's telling you. Okay. And the thing about yoga, I also want to share, I had to arrive at yoga. There was many, many years that I was like, yoga's boring. It's a waste of time. I don't burn any calories. And until I got to an emotional part in my life that I felt almost like desperate for some peace of mind, because I was going through a very, very difficult time with a boyfriend I was dating at the time. He had a heroin addiction. And I felt that I was drawn to yoga, not even so much for the physicality of it, but because I felt like I needed some place for my mind to rest. And I will never forget that teacher. She taught, her name is Mary Lynn Blum, and she taught a style called Kripalu. And she held it in this beautiful big church, and it was just a huge open space with high cathedral ceilings, and it was an amazing experience. And I'm so blessed that that was my first introduction to yoga, and she really took good care of me in the huge space. I mean, we had like sometimes 40, 50 people in that class, and I still felt like she took good care of me. And that was my introduction to yoga, and it was a totally coming out of overexercising and being a go-getter mentality. So anyway, there's all different ways we use exercise, movement, activities to give us benefits far beyond what we think is like on the surface of, well, we think we're going to exercise because we want weight loss. There's so many other benefits to it, and I don't need to go into that because there's tons of other videos out there for that. Okay, so step number 1, I want you to consider that there might be an underlying belief about the need to punish yourself. So if you are someone who pits their workouts against their food and vice versa, like really thinking, well, I ate all this stuff and now I need to exercise it off, what's really going on there is there's some belief about yourself that you deserve to be punished. So this is a journaling exercise, this step number 1. Is there some place in myself that I feel that I'm not worthy, or I don't deserve to feel good in my body or exercise or move in a way that feels good? Or is it that I need to find ways to beat myself up because there's something else that that really has nothing to do with exercise? By the way, this is why I have a mentorship program, because these layers are very deep, and it has something else completely different that has nothing to do with exercise. It's just showing up in your patterns of exercise. Here is a way that I can punish myself. I punish myself with food. I can punish myself with exercise. And then that's a vicious cycle. So I want you to just be open to journaling on that and see what happens. Step number 2, take inventory. I want you to think about the exercise that you do. Let's look at it right now in your life. Okay. The past is the past. Right now in your life, what are the exercises that you choose to do that do you think that they are like, are you doing them because you want to lose weight, or are you doing them because you really find joy in that movement? So this is just an observation and an inventory. All right. This is a place to learn about ourselves. You don't need to force yourself into any sort of exercise. Just learn. Okay. You want to learn about yourself. Am I running because I love it? Or am I running because I really want to lose weight? Am I doing yoga because I should and it's good for me? Or are you doing it because you really feel amazing during or after? Like for a while, I just kept showing up to yoga. Like, I don't really understand this, but all I know is on the other side of it, I feel really good. So that actually kept me going back for a long time, because it was almost like a dangling carrot. I was like, okay, I don't understand this. This is kind of weird, but like, I feel really good on the other side. So it was really tapping into, I felt good. I felt good about myself. I felt like my mind was clear. So that to me was a worthy, like that was something that was drawing yoga into my life consistently, not because I should do it, but then it was because I wanted to do it. So it's important to take inventory. Take a look at, where am I? What are the exercises I do? Like Deb had shared about dance, like she just loves dance. So also, let's see, always thought yoga rather boring when I was younger. Now it's powerful. Isn't that interesting? That is to the point that I shared earlier about how your body, like every chapter or decade that you're in, you can change your relationship to an activity. And you could also change your taste buds. Your taste buds may actually really love sushi later in your life. And when you're younger, you're like, that's disgusting. That's gross. So being open to trying new things, testing the waters, seeing if like, I wonder if my body actually likes this movement pattern at this stage of my life where years ago, not interested. This is what keeps life really fun and interesting, right? If you can keep looking to revisiting, I wonder if this, it might surprise you. It might really surprise you. So this step 2 of taking inventory is a really powerful one. Just looking at taking a walk, hiking, swimming, you know, playing golf? Are you rock climbing? Are you kickboxing? Are you spinning? What are you doing? Just make a list of all the activities that you do and that, or even things that you have enjoyed doing and start to kind of separate them with, I do this for weight loss. I do this for joy. I do this for weight loss. I do this for joy. Really trying to get clear on that. Because the thing I want to leave you with in step number 2 is that your body hears everything your mind says. So if there is a way, like you're moving through an exercise, like dreading it and pushing yourself to do it because it's surely for weight loss, your body's not going to respond in like very kindly to that. It's going to hold on to weight and hold on to things because there's an internal resistance of I should be doing and a little bit of dread of like, oh, this really doesn't feel good in my body. And like you push through and you do it anyway. Your body hears that. Your cells take that in. So this step with taking inventory is incredibly powerful. And that's something only you can answer for yourself. I cannot answer it for you. But what I can do is if you want to share or you have some ideas of things you want to sort through, then I'd be happy to do that with you. I just set up a page called realfit.tv/coffee. If anything comes up here that you feel like I love to like meet Dana for some virtual coffee for a half an hour and talk about like, let me dig into this thing that I discovered. I would love to do that with you. So I set that page up. So realfit.tv/coffee. And I would love to talk to you about any of these things that you're like, holy crap, I want to pick this apart a little deeper. Okay, so let's move on to number 3. So this is after you take inventory. I want you to legitimately list 3 or 5 things that you're doing just for the joy of it. Because there is something in it where you won't even look at the time. You're laughing, you're smiling, you get lost in it. That activity, and I say activity because it could be gardening, it could be golf, it could be rock climbing, it could be dancing, it could be walking, it could be hiking in the woods. So separate it as exercise and working out. And I want you to look at it as activity, movement in the body. So there is a biomechanist that I have been studying for years. I love her work, Katie Bowman. So she has this concept that she teaches about movement nutrients, that there are ways that we move our body, just like there's a whole array of nutrients in our food that we want to make sure we get a great variety so we're well nourished and we are vital and young and take care of ourselves. Well, think of movement that way too. So all sorts of activities that you're moving your body are ways that you're keeping your shoulder young and your knees and your hips. So when I had shared earlier that too much exercise can break these things down and too little exercise can make the aging process accelerate, this is what I mean. So there's actually science proving that if there's parts of your body that you aren't moving, those parts actually age faster than the other parts. So this is information I'm giving you just to take a look at how a variety of activities, like it seems like, oh, gardening, I don't know, is that, but you're moving your body, you're kneeling, you're using your arms, that absolutely counts. And especially if it's something that brings you joy, to see those flowers planted, to nurture, to water, to take care of something, that absolutely counts. Okay, so really expand your horizons, think a little bigger. What are 3 to 5 activities that could also be exercise exercise. It could also be working out. By all means, I love lifting. You better believe lifting is on my list that brings me joy for sure. So if it's more than 5 things, fabulous. Okay. So, and if you want to share any of them with me, please do it, because it's to give other women in this group ideas for themselves, things to explore, things to open their minds to. Okay. So, speaking of exploring or expanding your horizons, this brings me to number 4 of our 6 steps. And this is to get yourself exposed to all shapes and sizes of different bodies doing all different activities. So, there can sometimes be we pigeonhole ourselves into thinking, oh, I can't be a great dancer because I don't have a dancer's body. Or I don't think I can rock climb because of my size. And what I have to say is the issue there is probably that there needs to be a little bit more of an exploration into seeing other examples, real world examples of bodies, shapes, and sizes doing the things that you love to do. Different size bodies doing yoga and handstands and headstands. It's possible. There are limiting beliefs within yourself thinking, who am I to do this at this body size? So recently, Steve and I got back into the rock gym, and we're rock climbing. And there's something else there that's really important to know, that there are women I have seen with my own eyes rock climbing in all different sizes that are killing it. So it's not just about strength, it's about your belief in yourself, and it's about understanding the skills and techniques and other things that go into an activity, a sport, a game, or exercise or working out. It's not just all physicality. There are other elements that are important. Same thing with yoga, right? Like flexibility, and that's in all sizes. So I think our big issue is that we have narrowed the playing field with our social media accounts, and we're only following those who have these quote unquote societal ideal bodies. And we have to start curating our content to unfollow, unsubscribe, and start to subscribe to those all shapes and sizes so we can see what's possible for ourselves. So we don't hold ourselves back today. So that's really, really important. And I would absolutely love it in this community if you guys know of other, Deb said, check out belly dancers. Fantastic. That is a great representation. They're like shaking it and having a hoot and a great time. And it is about celebration, right? It's about celebrating your body. So that's really important for us to really break the mold to see what's possible. So if you can get really good and comfortable in your body today, and just like I shared in the episode last week, eat like you love yourself, move like you love yourself, speak like you love yourself, and act like you love yourself. If you're doing that every single day, those are the things you're doing to take utmost care of yourself, no matter what size shape you're in today. If you can continue to do that, you will inevitably get healthier mentally, emotionally, and physically. It is the outcome. It is the side effect. All right. So just being really present and showing up and making sure that you have support in that, that's really important. So this is why step 4 is making sure that you are seeing other people representing, oh, wow, like look at her moving her body in that shape that fast with that much joy, that, oh, she can do it. What? I'm holding myself back. I can do it too. Okay. So step number 5. This is about exploring activities that have nothing to do with your body image. So what if you could start an activity that is focused really on technique and skill, and maybe some sort of physical endurance? You could, think about that, but less in the physicality of the aesthetics of what it looks like, and maybe start to participate in something that can get your mind directed on, wow, it doesn't matter like what I my body looks like per se. I can focus on this activity and I feel like I can get better and stronger and all of those things. So I wanted to share, I was recently a guest on a podcast called Girls Throw Too. And it's actually a podcast hosted by these two women, Michelle and Whitney, and they are encouraging more women to get involved in cornhole. And I think it is so freaking cool because like I play cornhole in the summertime, it's that game where there's the two boards and there's a hole in each of the boards and they're a certain distance apart and you have these bean bags and you throw. So their whole podcast and community is helping to encourage women to throw cornhole. And so I was a guest on their podcast. It just got released yesterday. It is season 2, episode 43. And they do talk a little bit about a tournament going on. So if you wanted to fast forward to the timestamp, is somewhere around the 26-minute mark. That's where my interview is. So what I love about what they're doing is cornhole really gives you the opportunity to focus on like, this is the task at hand and this is the activity. And it's a community that is so supportive. Disabilities, that doesn't matter. Everyone's coming together for that purpose. I have a client who started doing pickleball recently, and for that similar reason of like, this is just something that's super fun. I can learn skill, technique. I get involved in the community. I get to meet new people. And it is less about weight and size and losing weight and that whole old narrative that's just not helpful and supportive anymore. So I really, I think it's important for everyone to explore these different activities that have really nothing to do with your size, your shape, or even your age, right? Like cornhole, that's a great example. It doesn't matter. You could be in your 20s, you could be in your 60s, like you could be in a wheelchair. Like that's pretty freaking cool. And it's still an activity. You're still moving your body. You still got to bend down and pick up those bean bags. There's still movement involved and a focus involved and a community involved. So if there's other things that you're involved in that you feel is freeing, has helped support your healthier body image, please share it. Please share it. Don't hold it back. Or if there's a community on Instagram or a YouTube channel you follow or another Facebook page you follow that has something to do with that, like an activity that's really open for all and like anyone can get involved or you can start researching it on your own, please share it. Don't keep it to yourself. I just shared about girls throw too. So it is, it's just awesome to think about like all these different ways that we're kind of pushing the boundaries and thinking bigger and giving ourselves more permission to do more. It's, to do the things that we love, not to do more just for the sake of doing more, but to get ourselves exposed to what's possible. Okay. So then the last one, number 6, you guys still with me? All right. So we are coming up on time, trying to keep these under 30 minutes. So be sure, this one's really, really important. Be sure you have a coach, a leader, a teacher who themselves is not in the throes of diet culture, where they do not have the healthy relationship with exercise and with, maybe they even have disordered eating. It's going to be very, very difficult for you to heal yourself if you are in the grasp and underneath the tutelage, if you will, of a teacher or instructor or coach who they themselves do not have a healthy relationship with their body or with exercise. You will stay stuck because you're in the language that they're using and they don't even know they're using it about themselves. They think that they're not, but there's a vibe that we feel from others if they are confident or not. Is it like there's something that you cannot mask and you cannot hide it? And the more you try to hide it, the stronger that gets, and other people pick it up. So you probably know. So we want to find people, and I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for following my channel and being in my Life Beyond Dieting group and just being in this conversation, because I have a healthy relationship with my body and with exercise. And I've done it. It was a process that I stayed focused to figure out and solve and resolve and heal myself. And it took a number of years, but I'm at this point now that I can skip a few days of moving my body or exercising. Or I like yesterday, I took a walk around a local lake that I haven't been around because it felt like almost like springtime, even though it was overcast yesterday here in Jersey. And I listened to Toad the Wet Sprocket and I just really enjoyed watching the birds on the lake because some of the lakes still had a little bit of ice on it. And it was just cool to see nature and be out there. And I did it not for my steps. I did it because I know my movement nutrients are important and getting in nature is important, and it helps me with clearing my head and perspective and getting fresh air. So you want to make sure you are getting exposed, or you have a coach, a mentor, someone who is like, you can start to see like, oh, if they did it, then that's possible for me too. And that I'm doing it my way, but my way doesn't necessarily mean that you like nature much, right? Like I have a personal training client. She's like, wants nothing to do with being out in nature, So the thing is, it's about you finding your own path and your own journey and making sure that whoever is taking you along to help you figure that out is not just trying to give you more of their rules to follow, but that you're really figuring out your own rules to follow. And that you're also subscribing to, it works until it doesn't work. And it's okay if my body in this decade or in this chapter, this season, isn't responding to jumping and impact the way it did 10 years ago. So what if that is okay? And what if that gives me an opportunity to look into a different sport or activity or get involved in something else that can be really super fun that I shut myself off to when I was younger? So yeah. Movement nutrients is I'm intrigued. Yeah, that's a pretty cool concept, right? Think about so movement nutrients is like you're moving, you can move your arms up and down, reaching and pulling, twisting, right? So think about that. Nutrients like circles, reaches, twists, bending your knees, pivoting, reaching down, reaching up, doing it on a diagonal. Think about all those movement patterns. Each movement pattern is a nutrient. So that's why when I work out with my clients and I have realfit.tv, I still run all of my fitness classes and workouts online. It's just part of my mentorship program right now. So all of my workouts at RealFit, I've built in movement nutrients for you guys for years, and you just didn't know it. Because I'm the leader that I am. I'm building it in without you needing to ask for it because it's good for all of us. Yoga is a fantastic example of movement nutrients. The thing yoga is missing is that there may not be like, jumping and plyometrics or as much cardio where like it's a, vinyasa, you can move, but you're moving based on your breath. So there are certain elements that you can get from yoga that you can't get from spin. But then there's also certain things from spin that you cannot get from yoga. Like it's vice versa. So the exploration of different activities is not only great for your attention and your mind, but it's great for these movement nutrients. All these different ways that can keep your joints able and mobile, and you're able to stay young and vital for as long as possible. And too much of it can be just as harmful as too little. So it's about finding that right balance. Listen, there's certain days that I do have more activity than others, but I also know that, over time, I've just learned to understand, like, you know what, really need to rest today. And I don't even feel guilty about it. Like, I don't feel guilty about taking a day off. I feel like that's part of my living my best life. That's part of it, right? Okay, you guys, fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you tuning in on my Freedom Fridays with Dana Lee. On YouTube, I created a playlist with all of my Freedom Friday videos. I will continue to slide into that playlist, so it's easy for you to find. In our Life Beyond Dieting Facebook group, I pin them to the top, but you can also search hashtag Freedom Fridays with Dana Lee, and all of my Freedom Friday videos will appear for you, and you can sort through those titles and topics. and watch an old one that I still look through myself and I'm like, still relevant, still relevant. I still teach the basics of like the foundations of mindset, a healthy mindset, getting ourselves to think differently about food and exercise. So any of those older videos can still very much be helpful and relevant, especially if it's a timely topic for you today. Okay. Last but not least, I just want to add in once more realfit.tv/coffee. If you wanted to set up a little virtual coffee date with me, we'll do that on Zoom. It's 30 minutes and we could just get right to the thing that you're struggling with the most. And I can help you get some perspective and clarity and understand what really is going on beneath it all. Over a cup of coffee. Okay, thank you so much. Namaste. Thank you, Deb. I appreciate you being here. Okay, I will see you on the next one.